Why I avoided Christianity was, as a child, I grew up in a Black Pentecostal church, and it was scary. They made God seem like this mean, horrible person that was out to punish people at every whim. Everything was about hell, and we had to be perfect and do good deeds in order to make God happy. And so I just didn't think I was ever good enough, and felt very condemned. Also, my mom was in a domestic violence situation, and the church was trying to tell her that she needed to stay in the relationship, and that was pleasing to God, and that made me so angry. I couldn't understand why this good God that they claimed would think that that was a good thing for a woman to get abused. A few years later, my mom did in fact leave the church. I guess she had had enough, and we ended up leaving and never looked back. Even to this day, my mom hasn't stepped back into the church, unfortunately. My life was really chaotic without God, and I ended up getting pregnant. I had found out that the gentleman that had gotten me pregnant had gotten another girl pregnant. He was heavily trying to pressure us to both get an abortion. I just told him I flat out refuse. I don't feel good about doing it, and I'm not going to do it. He had told me that he had found another family to adopt our child. So I set up a time to meet with the family. I met with the lady of the house, and she had told me that she was married and that her and her husband were missionaries, and they had 2 children of their own, and that yes, they would be willing to adopt my child. And I was just in shock, but in my heart, I just didn't want to feel like I wanted to give my baby up. I wanted to keep my baby. But I started to tell her my story and tell her that I didn't know how I was going to make it. I couldn't tell my family that I was pregnant. My friends and the guy didn't support me on this, so I didn't know how this was all going to work out. I was just kind of telling the story to the lady, and she was like, "Do you know God?" And I just thought, "Oh God, here we go." And I said, "Well, yeah, I know him. He's not a really nice person." She told me that God was loving and he was a good God, and she had invited me to her church. And at first I kind of hesitated, but something told me inside that just go, and I did, and it was the best decision of my life. Now my life is so good. I learned that God is a good and loving God. He cares for me. He takes care of me. All through raising my daughter, I just feel so blessed that I have come back to church and know this loving God so much that I'm never looking back.